Okay, it's 5 o'clock on Monday, April the 1st, and we will call this regular city council meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to our city council meeting. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, Deb.
Harley.
Here.
Brett.
Here.
Rodney.
Here.
Jessica. Here. Don.
Here.
Kathy. Here.
Entertain a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
Second. A motion from Harley, second from Don. Any discussion? Roll call, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brett.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. Across the mayor's desk, today I'd like to thank Jacob Shutter, our videographer again. And just a reminder, Saturday, April 13th is the Firemen's Annual Fundraising Breakfast. It'll be held at the fire station from 6 o'clock in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a free will offering. So they're serving pancakes and eggs, so enjoy those and show your support and thank the firemen for everything that they do. And then the Algona Annual Cleanup Day, actually just one day this year, and that'll be on Saturday, May 4th. There'll be more information about that. It'll be from 8 until 3. And there'll be dumpsters at Veterans Park again for a minimal fee to dispose of items. And there are some restrictions that will apply there. So that's just going to be one day this year instead of two. So, council have anything that they would like to share? Okay, we'll move then to update from the city administrator.
Fireman's breakfast, you stole what I had, so.
All right. And agenda item number 7 is the citizens' opportunity to address the council with any item that's not on the agenda. I see no one who would like to speak, then we'll move to the consent agenda, and that includes approving the minutes from the March 18th work session and the regular session. Approve the bills that are to be paid this cycle, and approve a Class C liquor license from the Friends of Bishop Garrigan High School.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, Devin?
Harley.
Yes.
Brett.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 9, under new business, this is the first reading of an ordinance dealing with vehicles and traffic.
This ordinance amends 2 sections of Chapter 10 of the City Municipal Code. Section 1 sets the speed limit on Snap-on Drive at 35 miles per hour. When we built that road new, despite there already being a drive there, since it was technically a public way, we didn't set a speed limit at that time, so that question was raised, and so we're going to match what we have on Finn Drive. And then the second item regards golf cart regulations, and just kind of a couple I would call kind of housekeeping items. But for the golf cart regulations, for equipment requirements, it removes the requirement for brake lights, in that they're only permitted to drive during the day and on the roads of 25 miles per hour or less, and be signaled with a flag. And typically, a lot of golf carts do not have brake lights. And then the second item is it removed the requirement for turn signals. Again, mechanical, electronic turn signals are not a common item, so to kind of make it line up with our UTV ordinance, we also been changing there that instead of saying they have to have the equipment, is they have to use arm or hand signals if they or the equipment. So just kind of cleaning that up to match our UTV ordinance.
Move to waive first reading.
Second. We have a motion and a second to waive the first reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brett.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried.
Move to approve first reading.
Second. Motion from Don, second from Ronnie to approve the first reading. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Ronnie.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 10, this is a resolution between AMU and the city of Algona.
So, John Bilstein with Gunner Municipal Utilities, invited him up and St. Joe's, we kind of give an update on this agreement and the following resolution as well, which deals with the annual transfer. So, John, you want to start us off?
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm John Bilstein, General Manager of Algona Municipal Utilities. I want to talk to you a few minutes about updated city transfer agreement and the resolutions that the AMU Board of Trustees has taken action on last week. Just as kind of a background to all of this, the Algona Municipal Utilities Board of Trustees was established back in 1951. So there was a vote of the citizens to create a board and move the electric and water funds to that Board of Trustees, which by the way was actually something that the City Council at the time requested that be put in place to have a separate Board of Trustees. So since that time, in 1951, there has been a transfer of funds to the City Council from the electric and water utilities. As you can imagine, that calculation and those transfers have changed over the years. The AMU and city staff, so Jacob, myself, Bob Harrington, have reviewed the current transfer agreement and recommend that the agreement be changed from a lump sum amount to a percentage amount. The percentage calculation is more common among city-owned utilities and allows the transfer to adjust automatically based on annual sales. The last time that we made a change to the agreement related to the actual transfer amount was in 2015, and that dealt with 2014 revenues or sales. So subject to Iowa Code 384.89 and the administrative rules for fund transfers adopted by the City Finance Committee at Chapter 545, Iowa Administrative Code, Chapter 2, the utility may make an annual transfer from the electric and water utility funds to the city from the surplus revenue of each of the utilities. The AMU Board of Trustees first must determine that there are surplus funds on hand per Section 384.89 of the Iowa Code, and they have to make that determination each year. Once the board's determined surplus funds for a transfer, then the transfer is calculated per the agreement that you have in front of you. The new transfer agreement that was approved by the AMU Board of Trustees on March 27th, so last Wednesday, uses a formula calculating the total amount of revenues derived from the sale of electric energy and water within the corporate limits of the city. Then that number we subtract from that number the amount of all sales to the utility, the amount of property taxes paid to Kasuth County for the benefit of the city, so those related to within the city limits, and then multiply that result by 5%. So it's kind of a mouthful there. And then we subtract any other transfers, special transfers, splash pad, for instance, seasonal decorative lighting, all of those things, to get to a final number. Now the splash pad number, for instance, that we're doing over 4 years, is included in the transfer. So as a result of that, we come up with a new agreement that we're proposing. It has a graduated scale for the water utility of 3% for the 2023 sales, 4% for the 2024 sales, and 5% for the 2025 sales, and then all sales after that will remain 5%. So 5% sales on the electric, 3% sales on water for this particular transfer. So we're looking back to the 23 numbers to calculate the transfer for 24. What does that all mean? So the proposed transfer agreement, which also stipulates this includes our billing agreement, and also just indicates a few of the places that get internet at no charge. Some of those are included in that agreement. So for the electric utility, the transfer that we proposed is $517,471, and that does include $25,000 for the splash pad project. And then for the water utility, it's $55,825.
How long, John, does the 5% beginning 2025, how long is that rate, that percent maintained?
So we have that for the agreement for now until such time that we would determine mutually that that number needed to be
Okay.
increased. And we thought this was nice because it automatically sets something that moves versus us needing to update an agreement every few years to say, hey, we haven't changed this in 5, 6, 7 years, in this case nearly 9 years. So definitely time to do that. And we think a little easier than some years before where we had it calculated that was based on 5-year average sales and other things. This seemed a little easier.
And well, it's not a franchise agreement, kind of had that in mind, crafting it as a model in that, like with what we have for MediaCom or Mid-American Energy, they pay a 5% franchise fee, as well as, they're subject to property tax. So there may not being a private entity, a city utility, they don't have, they're subject to that franchise and they don't pay those property taxes, which, so this is kind of the best of both worlds, and that we get the locally owned utility and all the benefits, while staying local, that's generated, but at the same time, allows funds to come into the city to help make up for what otherwise would be being paid to the city if we had a private utility serving us.
And although the calculation may be different based on different cities and board of trustees, it is very common across Iowa and across the United States. So public power utilities across the U.S. follow a similar type of transfer or payment in lieu of taxes process. They may calculate it a little bit differently, but we're right in the ballpark of what we see on a nationwide basis for how these calculations work. And it is a way that, as Jacob said, public power utility, the water utility is giving back. We're not paying taxes, but we are part of the community in another way that we give back. A benefit of having the city utility.
Make a motion to approve the resolution amending utility services and transfer agreement between AMU and the city of Algona.
Second
We have a motion from Rodney, second from Brad. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you, and thank you, John, for that explanation. We'll move to agenda item number 11. This is a resolution approving the transfer of funds.
So subject to that agreement that was just approved, this is the resolution approving the transfer that John alluded to from the AMU Electric Utility in the amount of $517,471, and from the water utility transfer of $55,842.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Rodney, second from Kathy. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 12 is a resolution pertaining to Snap-on Tools.
Back on March 18th, city staff, WHKS, the engineering firm for wastewater, met with officials at Snap-on in reference to their wastewater treatment agreement, which comes up for renewal every 2 years. The main change in the agreement is we updated it to current city surcharges, and as of October 1st of 2025, if they're over their daily allowance or their monthly allowance of phosphorus, they will pay a surcharge for that. That's the main change in this agreement. Snap-on has already signed it, and we're asking for the council to sign.
Snap-on does pay the same rates as any other entity based on what's in the ordinance, but this also lays out just because of the size and the type of discharge that they have out there in terms of, testing requirements, daily, weekly, monthly, what those parameters are. So we have these just with our very large industrial users just to make sure that everything is coming down to the plant is kosher.
This is a 2-year agreement.
2-year agreement, yes.
to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Don and second from Rodney. Any other discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 13 is a resolution pertaining to the wastewater treatment improvement project.
Last fall, Emma with WHKS was working on a $500,000 grant from the wastewater and drinking water treatment financial assistance program, otherwise known as the WTFAP. We were notified on February 9th that we received that $500,000 grant. This resolution, it is a it's a drawdown grant. It's not, here's $500,000 towards your treatment plan, but this resolution will allow us to sign a contract for the grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Harley, second from Kathy. Any discussion? That's some good news anyway. Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 14 is a resolution setting a public hearing.
So this is a resolution setting a public hearing proposed for April 15th at 5 p.m. Regarding proposed issuance of sanitary sewer revenue bonds in the amount not to exceed $30,785,000 from the Iowa Finance Authority's State Revolving Loan Fund Program. This would be for the 2024 wastewater treatment plant project, which was awarded to Woodruff Construction at the last council meeting. So that just sets the public hearing for the 15th and directs the clerk to issue and publish the notices as required. And then we are looking on, after having that hearing, we'll have a few other approvals and then closing on the loan sometime in May.
Motion to approve setting public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion from Rodney, second from Don to set this public hearing for April 15th at 5 p.m. Any discussion?
Is that the only one that night, or do we have a public hearing for the budget? You just
We'll have three.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like,
There was
this, the
more.
budget, and then the annexation.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. We'll see if we have anything else on the agenda that night.
Yeah.
Public hearing.
Public hearing.
Agenda item number 15, this is to approve an application for a property tax exemption.
This is for new residential construction at 2604 Abbey Road. They've requested the 5-year 70% recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Rodney, second from Brad. Any discussion?
Welcome to town.
There you go. Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. And yes, thank you for your investment and welcome to Algona, welcome to town, and we know you're enjoying your new home there. So, agenda item number 16 is just some discussion on the 24-25 fiscal year budget.
So this would, just wanted to have an opportunity, if there was any discussion before the next item, we'll have a resolution setting the public hearing for the budget. So that's proposed to be on April 15th. At 5 o'clock, and then we'll, after that hearing, have a resolution adopting the FY25 budget. As we discussed during the public hearing at the special council meeting earlier today, the proposed levy rate, I know it's tough to see there, that we would send out the notice would be that 16.97643. Happy to answer any questions. If you have any on kind of what we've had over time with the work sessions and the departments that we've met with, but otherwise I don't have anything in particular to add.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Discussion at 4 o'clock.
primarily if you feel comfortable with this budget and that next year if things aren't great, we will be able to manage a budget then also.
That's what the state throws at us. So far this year, I know that, sounds like they aren't gonna really be doing anything to mess with kind of how the city taxation system works. The hope is, that, you know, with the major reforms they've done the last couple of years, that they kind of want to see how those actually impact communities. I mean, they're not impacting us in a positive, but I think kind of the severity of those. So I don't think we'll see any major reforms, but, you know, as we discussed in the hearing earlier, you know, the assessments, the rollback rates, you know, a lot of those factors on what goes into determining property taxes were one of those three. So I feel like, you know, this budget, you know, obviously this year we're kind of a little bit less intense on the capital project side, which I think we're all ready for kind of a breather on that after the 3 really intense years. But, you know, has kind of the design work and some work for the airport project, you know, upgrading, replacing 2 police vehicles. You know, the biggest item, minimum of our operating budget is, you know, just the staff and our general operating expenses. But then we also have some capital expenditures in there for the design and kind of initial construction for the future street department building. But we're looking at the bulk of that work to take place in 2026. And that's just kind of the timing with our future debt issuance to coincide with that, with not wanting to draw down too much cash. With the sewer loan we're going to be issuing this year, we want to wait till next year to issue any more GO debt. So I think we're in a good spot. We'll still be ending the year with you know, healthy fund balances, and we always, you know, so far, knock on wood, over the years worked out in terms of we try to budget conservatively. So if we're off a little bit, you know, it errs in our favor. We've got some margin in there. You know, that's played out so far, and so you know, I think this is a good budget. Where we will have a good funding balance so if we have something kind of curveball in future years, we'll be able to absorb that.
Well, thanks again for all your work. I know there's been some curveballs that the state's thrown and other complications through this budget process, but appreciate all your work and the good explanation that we've had continually here for the last couple months or so.
Well, just to mirror that, I appreciate, you know, all the time council puts in with the work sessions before and after our regular meetings, and the emails and phone calls I get as well with questions, and you know, the guidance, you know, you give us in the departments to put something together, and I think we make it work.
And we'll move to agenda item number 17, then this is a resolution setting another public hearing.
So this was a public hearing for the proposed FY25 budget for April 15th at 5 p.m.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion from Harley, second from Brad, to set this budget hearing, public hearing for April 15th at 5 o'clock. Any discussion? Vote please, Dale.
Harley. Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Jessica. Yes. Don.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Motion carried. That brings us to the end of our published agenda. It's 5:24, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn our council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The council meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.